and then it starts speaking to me. And then as it speaks to me, I see the words pour out of his mouth. Like visually, I see him talking to me. I see the words come out. Welcome back to another video. I'm Wesley, Psychedelic Starseed channel. So in this video, I'm going to be detailing my 5-gram mushroom experience. And I was trying to decide like what story do I want to tell, right? Because I have a few experiences to pick from, whether like LSD helped me quit smoking, my first 5-gram experience. I had a few different things that seemed like they would be interesting to tell. I settled on my 5-gram experience, my second one, because this was actually quite recently. This was about a week ago. So I guess I'll give a little backstory, because it always interests me of when someone smokes DMT or takes a high amount of mushrooms, like that's like a big thing. It's a big time commitment and just like a big thing. So like what led you to actually partake in this experience? And it always interests me. So if the backstory interests you, leave a comment and I'll keep it in for the rest of my videos, give a little backstory. If it's something you don't really care about, you just kind of want me to get on with the story, leave a comment for that too, just so I kind of know like what you guys like and what you want. So I needed work done on my car, and I'm not the most car savvy guy. Like anything past changing the oil is a little bit beyond my skill level. Just so happens that my friend knows a little bit more about cars, and he's done stuff before. I needed my brakes done, and he's done brakes. So I decided that I was going to drive to visit my friend and his wife, who's also one of my best friends. And they both happen to be psychedelic enthusiasts. So anytime I'm there, there's always a chance that we're going to partake in some kind of psychedelic. And it's a little bit of a drive down there. So I have time to really just think and enjoy the drive. And as I was driving down, I was thinking, like, I don't know if I really want to take any type of psychedelic. Like it's just such a process. And sometimes, to be honest, I don't always want to do deep inner work. I don't always want to travel deep into my subconscious or psyche or explore the depths of my existence. Sometimes I just don't want to do that. So I didn't really feel like I wanted to do that. So I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do anything like that. I'm just gonna hang out, have fun, just enjoy the weekend and all that. And that was kind of my thought process going in. So I get there, we do my breaks, and then we just hang out afterwards and talk. And my friend's friend came over to hang out as well, and I met her once before. She's super cool. I would consider her my friend. And so it was just all of us kind of hanging out, having fun, talking. And my friends decide that they're gonna do some mushrooms, and nothing super crazy, nothing really, no large dose or anything like that, just like a little bit, like maybe I guess you could call it an experience enhancer. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, I might, maybe I will actually take some mushrooms. Nothing crazy. Maybe just like a cap and a stem. Maybe like 2 small mushrooms that equal like a gram potentially. Like something that's not very heavy, not super crazy. That was my thought process. Again, in that. And so I walk over. They have mushrooms in a bag, and I reach in, not really paying attention, and I just grab a mushroom and pull it out. And it just so happens to be the biggest mushroom that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I've never seen a mushroom this big. It looked like a broccoli floret, I think they're called, like just like a piece of broccoli, like a fairly large piece of broccoli. And the actual stem of the mushroom was like the lower base of broccoli, like the big part that attaches to the really thick stem. It looked like one of those. It was very, very large. It was kind of like 2 mushrooms growing out of the same base. So it was like this, it was 2 very large mushrooms. And I kind of just showed it to my friend, just like, wow, this thing is like super big. I've never seen anything this big before. And just out of curiosity, I was like, I'm gonna weigh this just to see how much it is. So I put it on the scale, and the scale kind of ticks up like 1, 2, 3, 4, boop, 5 grams. It was not a milligram scale, which is usually like the first time I did 5 grams, I used a milligram scale, so it was like right at 5 grams. This was just a gram scale, so it was more than 5. It was at least 5. It could have been 5.5, 5.9, 5.2, something like that. I would just guess 5.5 or 5.6. I don't know why, but that's just what I would guess it to be. But it was at least 5. And I just kind of saw that, and I was like, well, you know, whether you believe in this type of thing or not, it seemed like the universe brought me this experience where, you know, I wasn't going to do mushrooms, and I was like, ah, you know what, maybe I will. And then I reached in the bag and just happened to pull out 5 grams, which is like the standard, like in the psychedelic community, it's like the standard, you want to talk to some aliens, well, this will make you talk to some aliens mushroom dose. It's kind of the standard thing that Terence McKenna popularized. He was a professor, psychedelic enthusiast in the 80s, I believe. He had a lot of, he did a lot of like lectures on psychedelics and his experiences and his theories. And his standard thing was always like 5 grams taken in silent darkness, and you're gonna go to some places, but this is a good dose for if you're really trying to, I guess, talk to aliens. And I've been thinking about doing a big trip because I have a lot of things going on in my life right now, a lot of exciting things, but, you know, new things that are scary, and sometimes it's just good to get perspective, and mushrooms can give me that perspective. So I've been thinking about doing a larger dose just to kind of think about these things and everything, and it just seemed like a good time to do it. It seemed like everything kind of lined up, and I was, you know, in a comfortable place with people I trust, and then, you know, this mushroom just happens to be 5 grams. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it. And, you know, my friends are experienced, and they've had many experiences themselves, so it wasn't like they were, like, it wasn't like the vibe was like, oh my god, like, are you like, this is a mistake, you know, be careful, like, this is crazy. It was more like, you know, like when I was like, I think I'm gonna do this, it was more like, okay, like, are you sure? You know, it's like, for better or for worse, this is going to change your night, you know. Are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, like, I want to do this. So, you know, it's like, okay, you know, like they were okay with it, you know. And so I take it, you know, eat it. If you never had mushrooms, it tastes really hard to describe. It's, I don't think it's that good. Some people claim to like it. I would claim that they are potentially liars, but, you know, who am I to judge? It does not taste good per se, but I just ate it straight up, which is something Terence McKenna also talked about, where he's like, I don't know why people, you know, eat it with peanut butter and the like. I just eat it as it is. You know, he said something along those lines, but I just ate it straight up, and it, you know, it doesn't taste like dirt, but it doesn't not taste like dirt. The best way I could describe it is it tastes of nature. Whatever that means to you, it tastes like it's something, like it's a piece of fungi that is connected to nature. That's just what it tastes like to me. So eat that. My friend puts on a comedy special, you know, just something kind of light, whatever, you know, just something that, you know, is fun to watch. Andrew Scholl's Crowdwork special is the one I watched. Highly recommend you give it a try. He's a great comedian. But, you know, it's probably, it's a 30-minute special, and I think we watched all of it. At probably around the 15 to 20-minute mark, I felt it kind of coming on, and then by the 30-minute mark, when it was over, everything was starting to get a little bit weird. Not a lot weird, just a little bit weird. So I knew that it was time to go off by myself. So I just, you know, take a blanket, take a pillow, I go to my friend's bedroom, no one there, and I just lay down, cover myself with a blanket. Like I said, silent darkness, no TV, no music, no looking on my phone, nothing like that. Just, all right, let's do this. And I close my eyes, and these waves of visuals, you know, just start coming in. And I remember seeing entities and things like that. I can't remember specifics for a lot of this. A lot of it kind of faded away. Not like a blackout, like drunk blackout, where you just like don't remember anything. I remember seeing things, and I remember what I thought as I saw them, but I don't actually remember what I saw. A lot of things kind of faded away, but there are a few things that stuck, and so I'll go into those. One of the first things that happened was I saw this tiny entity, and I could best describe it as, if I had to make a comparison in our world, it was like a chipmunk is to us. So I was like that small in comparison to me in my visuals. And it was a masculine energy. It wasn't like a real powerful masculine energy, but it seemed male. And it was kind of like running around, kind of like a chipmunk actually. It might have been a chipmunk entity. I don't know if that's the thing, but it was just kind of like running around. It was like that, and it just went pop, and it like scurries into my head. And then so it's in my head, and it says to me, we want to talk to, I'll just call her Kim. We want to talk to Kim, and she was the friend of my friends that had come over to hang out. And when it said that, I was just kind of like, well, okay, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Like I'm here, and she's not in the room with me, so like I'm not going out there and be like, hey, this little chipmunk entity wants to talk to you. You know, like I'm not gonna do that. So I was just kind of like just gonna leave that alone. You know, just whatever. We kind of moved on from that. And the next thing I remember is I was on a cosmic operating table. So I was lying on my back on like this table, and I'm looking up, and there are these entities over me, like working on my chest, abdomen area. Like I don't know what they're doing really. I didn't really see, and I think there's maybe 5 of them. Like maybe three on the left side, and like 2 on the right, or something like that. But about 5. And I'm not scared or anything. I'm just observing. I'm just observing what's going on, and just more curious and interested of like, I'm being like operated on cosmically, and one of the entities that's operating on me says, you know, nothing's wrong. Like we just need to make some changes. Which I didn't ask anything. There was nothing that prompted that. It was just almost like, you know, I didn't feel nervous either. So it just was kind of like a reassurance, I guess, of like, hey, you know, everything's cool. Like we just need to make a few changes. And I was like, oh, they just need to make a few changes. Okay, you know, and it was just interesting. And the next thing that happens is I'm being wheeled somewhere else, like into another room, in quotes. It wasn't a room, but like it seemed like I was being wheeled into a room. And on one of those like hospital gurney things, they transport people. Like maybe you've seen the TV shows. I don't know if they actually use beds like that for surgery, but they wheel me like into this other place, and then I don't really remember anything related to that specifically then. And there's this large blank space where I can't remember what I was seeing. I remember there were entities and there were other things, but I don't remember actually what I don't remember anything I could describe to anyone, other than as I was seeing these things, in my head I thought, like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna remember this. Like I somehow had the feeling that what I was seeing right now, I was not going to be able to remember afterwards. And I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of disappointing, because I wanted to share everything with my friends and with you guys. But it just was like, I don't think I'm gonna remember this. And I didn't. So there's that blank space, and then we hop to, all of a sudden I'm in this realm, and I see this entity that is kind of human-like, kind of, but it definitely has a very animal feel to him. I think it was a him. It was on all 4s, kind of like a dog in a sense. Size-wise is really hard for me to make a comparison, but I guess I perceived it to be kind of like the size of a mountain lion, maybe. Something like that. Like it's not humongous, but it's not like as small as a dog. Like so maybe a large mountain lion or a very large dog, something like that. And it's like walking around, but we're in almost space. Like I don't see like ground or objects that it's walking on. It's just like kind of walking in the air. And it kind of like loops around, just walking in the air, and then it comes toward me, and it stops. You know, like maybe like that far away, so like a 1.5 feet or so from my face, and then it starts speaking to me. And then as it speaks to me, I see the words pour out of his mouth. Like visually, I see him talking to me. I see the words come out, and when these words come out, they are songs. It's music, and you know, it wasn't like my friends are blaring loud music or anything. Like this is This is music that is so clear. It was like I have headphones on. It was that clear. It was like I was playing music in the room, and it was so like it was carrying on a melody. It wasn't just like a sound. It was melodies. It was a song, and he spoke, and the song came out, and the song was, if you've ever listened to psychedelic trance, which is a subgenre of electronic music, they make psychedelic music, which is a question that I've always had of why is certain sounds psychedelic? Like, why can I hear that and think like, oh, that's psychedelic? Or why does it sound so much better when I listen to this kind of music when I trip than other music sounds? Like, why is this so much better? Like, if you ever listen to Schwangel or Future Primitive or guys like that just make these amazing like psychedelic music that's just incredibly layered and beautiful and well crafted. It's always boggled me, and the idea that I have, my theory that I thought about after the trip was over, is that people have astrally projected, or through meditation, whatever it is, maybe even psychedelics, and they've gone to these realms and interacted with these entities, and these entities, this is their language, this is how they speak, is in this psychedelic sound. I'm not sure how YouTube will feel, but I might insert a clip of what it kind of sounded like. But what I thought was that people have gone here and interacted with these beings, and then they replicated that sound in music, and then they put it in songs. And the reason that it sounds psychedelic to us is because when we hear that sound on a deeper level, on like a soul level, on a higher level, we know that this is like an astral place that you can go, and it's this higher plane of existence. It just was an interesting theory to me. It kind of answered a question I've been having for a long time, which was really interesting. I just thought it was really cool. And I had the thought of like this is a really cool experience. I want to be able to tell my friends. I want to be able to remember this and make a video about it. And I was kind of worried that I would forget. I was like, I really would like to remember this. And in my previous DMT videos, I talked about speaking to my spirit guides, like these higher dimensional beings that are here to help us individually through our incarnations, which I personally believe in. Up to you if you want to believe in that. I'm just a crazy hippie who believes in all this, but I talked to an entity that I perceived to be my spirit guide, and he was like, oh, well, we'll help you remember this, yeah, we'll help you remember this. I was like, oh, like I didn't know that was an option. I could just ask to remember some of this, and they'd be like, yeah, cool, like sure. So I thought it was funny that was one of the few things that I remembered from, I don't know, it was probably like, I don't know how long I was by myself, like 2 hours, something like that, 3 hours, I don't know, something like that, 2 hours give or take. And I remember a few things, and that's one of them. I just find it interesting. And I was feeling tired. I was getting hit with these intense waves of exhaustion, where I just felt like my body and soul were just like done. Like I felt more tired than I did after I ran a marathon. Like legitimately, it was just these waves of complete exhaustion. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like there's just a lot going on. I've been doing this for a while. I might just chill out. And I kind of turned on my side. I had been on my back. I turned on my side, and my guide then kind of comes and talks to me again, and he was like, oh, like are you done? Like you had enough? Because like not in like a, oh, you had enough now. Like it was like in a like, hey, like are you done? Like are you tired? Like it's cool. Like we'll stop. We'll quit. This can be over. Like whatever you want. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, man, like this is such an interesting, amazing experience. I kind of want to keep going. So I'm gonna keep going. And I turn back over onto my back, kind of put my legs out straight, arms by my side, and then the visual just boom, come back in, right back into it. And I can't remember if this is the right order of things. The next thing I'm about to tell you might have come before that, might come after. I don't completely remember, but I didn't see this being, but I just felt him, and all of a sudden I meet or feel this powerful masculine being that just, his energy feels like it's filling up the entire room, and it's not scary at all. It's not like malevolent. It's not there's nothing scary about it. I just feel I don't even know what the word would be to describe it. It just was like, not necessarily like intense love. It just was like, oh, hello, you're here, you know, like that type of thing. And it just was this strong masculine energy that was like palpable. It was like you could feel it. And I had the thought that, you know, like, oh, this is my friend. I'll call her Taylor. I'll say Taylor. And so my friend Taylor, she's the wife of my friend who helped me fix the car, and she's had interactions with her spirit guides and her husband. He is at a level spiritually, or whatever you want to call it, that I'm not at, that he can get visuals and meditation and interact with different beings and guides and stuff like that. I'll leave that to you if you want to believe it, but you know, he's my friend. I don't believe that he would lie to me. I 100% believe him, but I understand if you don't know him, it can be hard to believe, so take that as you will. But he later told me that some of the beings that he has interacted with, he kind of like called in when I went down there by myself. He just kind of called him in, you know, just kind of be with me, protect me, you know, just whatever it is. So that was cool to me. I thought it was really cool that you know, I just had the perception that was my friend's, like that being was related to my friend, or involved with my friend specifically. I don't know why, it's just what popped in my head. And so I just found it cool, the connection that, you know, like, you know, maybe like he called in one of my friend's guides and kind of came in and was like, you know, just kind of watching there, being with me. And maybe that's why I didn't see him like I did the other ones, because, you know, he wasn't there to interact with me. He was just there to watch over me, to be with me, whatever it may be. So it was interesting, just was a really cool experience. And so, you know, a little bit more goes on, more blank space, and I finally was like, all right, I'm done. I kind of like had enough. I'm good, man. Like okay, I'm good to go now. And so I get up, I go upstairs with my friends. You know, they watch some, you know, just some light, funny stuff. And, you know, I tell them a little bit about my trip, and then we just kind of hang out the rest of the night. It was a very interesting experience, and, you know, the whole next week I felt really, really good, just focused and happy, just very, very good. And it was a really good experience. Oh, there was one thing I forgot to tell you. So it was after I decided I wanted to keep going, like after I turned back over my back, so like the visuals were coming in and doing more things. I don't know what I was doing, but I was getting, you know, hit with those intense waves of being tired. And my guide, or who at least the entity I perceived to be my guide, one of my guides, was like, hey, like, you're gonna feel tired, just accept it, and then like, let's keep going if you want to keep going. And what I felt he was saying was like, look, you're gonna feel tired, accept your body's physical state. If you want to keep doing this, like, there's no need to focus on your body's physical state. Like, let's keep going then, don't worry about that. And it kind of applies to me very specifically and resonated, because throughout just day-to-day life, I always have this desire to be at my peak performance, like my peak, like peak awakeness, alertness, mental function, energy. I want to be operating on 100% all the time, no matter what. So I'll, you know, intake a lot of caffeine or whatever, and I'll like overload myself with caffeine because I'm trying to stimulate myself to be at that peak performance, and that overextends me, and I think I run myself down a little bit, because I'm always trying to operate at that peak performance when I'm at work, or even when I'm making a video. I want to be super awake and alert, and I think it runs me down and negatively affects me. So it was almost a lesson in that, where, you know what, I can just be tired, accept that I'm tired, and then keep doing whatever I need to do. I don't have to be at this peak performance, peak energy thing all the time. I can just accept my body's physical state and keep moving with what I'm doing. So it was kind of a cool thing to experience. And like I said, that was, you know, that's pretty much the end of it. And I hung out with my friends, had a really good time, felt really good. Yeah, so it was a very interesting experience, and that was the second time that I've taken 5 grams, and there may be more in the future. We'll see. Probably not for a while. I spaced out my first and second experience pretty far. I generally like to do that with larger doses, but that's all I got. If you like the video, please like it. It helps my channel grow. Please subscribe if you liked it. If you're watching this on my Starseed Fitness channel, I'll probably be doing a different video, like non-psychedelic related, next week. And if you're watching on my Psychedelic Starseed channel, I will probably make another video next week, and if not then, you know, sometime soon, hopefully. So leave a comment if there's something interesting that you liked. Leave a comment if you've had a cool experience that, you know, I just want to hear if you've had some cool stuff, or if you've interacted with any of these types of things that I have. I find that super interesting. So drop a comment with anything like that. I love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend. That's it.